Hi, Andy XL back with another NFXL podcast. Now, in my last piece, I gave you my three favourites to win the Super Bowl in LA next February, who incidentally were the two LA teams, the Chargers and the Rams, and the Denver Broncos. Here, a look at eight teams that made the postseason last time around, and whilst they did not make my favourite three for next season, should all be in contention again in 2026-27. And I'll go through them in order of how well they did in the postseason last time around. And let's start then with the reigning champion Seattle Seahawks, the team that went and won it all last season. Will try to do what many teams have failed to do and retain their titles next season. Now, running back Kenneth Walker, Boye Mafe at defensive end, safety Kobe Bryant, and cornerback Tariq Woolen are all significant free agent departures this off-season, though, for the Seahawks. They did draft Bud Clark and Julian Neal on day two of the draft to replace Bryant and Woolen, and brought in veteran Dante Fowler to replace Mafe, but the defense may be degraded overall as a result of these outs and ins. A defense that ranks sixth against the pass and second against the run may be able to absorb this to an extent, but will potentially need the offense to deliver improved performance to keep them at the same level overall as they reached last season. So losing Walker is a big blow, and with his running mate Zach Charbonnet on the long road to recovery from a bad injury, first-round draft pick Jadarian Price will literally need to hit the ground running if the Seahawks are to once again rank in the top 10 for run offense. Their pass offense was hugely dependent on the superb Jackson Smith and Jigba last season. J&S accounted for over a third of the Seahawks' receptions, over 40% of the yardage, and 40% exactly of the receiving TDs the Seahawks had in the regular season last time around. So unless Rashid Shaheed and Torrey Horton can take some of that burden off J&S and Cooper Kupp can continue to contribute, the Seahawks are more vulnerable than their competitors to an injury severely depleting their receiver core. Sam Darnold is now getting paid big money, so whilst he was required just not to mess it up last season on a low salary, for them to defend, he may have to justify this new big pay packet by actually going out and winning them games next season. The defensive changes, over reliance on Smith and Jigba, doubts as to whether Darnold can take his game to the next level, and the fact they will face a much tougher schedule and play every week with a target on their back make me think the Seahawks are an outsider of the four teams of the teams in this piece to win it all again. But they did it last season and should be capable of making a big challenge again next time around. Next up, the losing team from the Super Bowl last year, the New England Patriots. The Patriots improved greatly last season and were way ahead of their development curve in making it to the Super Bowl. But can they match that or even get over that final hurdle next season? Now, in terms of free agency, they lost Kairis Tonga from their D line and Calavon Chason off the edge, and also Jalen Hawkins at safety. Draymond Jones and Kevin Byard have come in to replace Chason and Hawkins, but no replacement for Tonga has been found right now. The Pats D ranked 12th against the pass and 5th against the run last season. The pass defense could maintain that ranking, but without Tonga at defensive tackle, that run defense ranking could slide next season. On offense, they have remained pretty settled throughout free agency and the draft, with the exception of their O-line. Garrett Bradbury is a huge loss at centre, and with last year's rookie Jared Wilson likely to move from left guard to centre to fill that huge void, Elijah Vera Tucker has been added to replace Wilson at left guard. And further in the shuffle, Caleb Lomu was drafted in the first round of this year's draft to compete for a position on that starting O-line, maybe with Will Campbell at left tackle. The loss of Bradbury and the other changes here put in doubt how strong that O-line will be, and that could affect the offense badly if things do not come together. If the O-line holds up, then the arrival of Romeo Doubs and the talented early June addition of A.J. Brown more than offset the loss of Stefan Diggs and give the Pats a stronger receiving core, theoretically, assuming Brown arrives for next season. So going into next season as divisional champions rather than bottom of the division team will also give them a much tougher schedule to face next season. The tougher schedule alone could take anywhere between 2 and 4 wins off their 14 wins they managed last season. With the concerns over the heart of their D line and their O line, The Pats may well do well to retain their divisional title in 2026, but if it all comes together, they could make a serious run at it again next time around. Right. If they're not going to win the division, maybe the Buffalo Bills can. So have the Bills made the moves that will get them back to the top of the AFC East? David Edwards is a significant free agent loss on their O line, and the addition of Austin Corbett and draftee Jude Bowery do not look like they cover that loss. DJ Moore was a nice addition at wide receiver, but they still look short of a true standout wide receiver one. It is on defense that the Bills have made a number of moves. Joey Bosa, Matt Milano, and Jordan Poyer have not been retained after free agency, and in come Bradley Chubb, outside linebacker, and in their secondary, CJ Gardner Johnson and D. Alford have also been added. They also drafted heavily on defense. David Igbonison and TJ Parker were the second round picks, with Caleb Elamzor, Jalen Kilgore, and Zane Durant also being added early on day three, all of which that means their defense should be at least as good as it was against the pass last season when it was top five ranked in that regard. But it was their run defense that was the gaping wound that in their portfolio, if you like, last season, ranking a lowly 29th in the league. Ed Oliver only played 3 games last season at defensive tackle, and the Bills are obviously hoping a return to health for him will make them much better in that area, as they have not made any moves to add interior D linemen this off-season. With Oliver and Daquan Jones at the heart of their D line the season before last, they ranked 11th in the league against the run. So if Oliver can stay healthy, maybe they are right to hope for such improvement next season. Overall, the Bills look likely to be better next season than they were last, and as they got 13 wins last season, that or even not more may be on the cards next term. My concerns for them are over that O line and the lack of an elite receiver. They're the main reasons, and also can they get that run defense sorted out? So that's my concerns re the Bills. Quick drink. Then on to the Chicago Bears. Two surprises that the Bears pulled off last season were firstly getting 11 wins, and secondly that those 11 wins were enough to win the NFC North. That division looks one of the toughest to win next season. It looks stacked. So the Bears may need to improve on their efforts of 25 to do so, given that they, like the Patriots, will face a tougher schedule in 2026. Losing linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, cornerback Nashon Wright, and safeties Kevin Byard and Jaquan Brisker to free agency left the Bears with work to do in those areas this offseason. Kobe Bryant via free agency and their first round draft pick, Dylan Thieneman, were their moves to address the safety positions, with Devin Bush arriving to replace Edmonds. They also added depth on the defensive side via free agency in the draft. Their pass defense ranked 25th in the league last season, but was first for getting picks. However, Bayard, Wright, and Edmonds had 16 of the Bears' 23 picks last season. So that is one area that are likely to see a significant drop off in next season, which has to make this an area of concern for the Bears next season. You know, if they rank 25th against the pass, but bailed themselves out with picks, if they don't get the picks, all of a sudden that defense looks iffy, decidedly. Their run defense was fourth in the league last season, though, and looks likely to be amongst the best in the league again in 2026. Their young talent on offense in the form of Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze, Colston Loveland, and Luther Burden delivered in 2025, and as the Bears' pass offense ranked 10th in the league, and Williams threw the fewest interceptions. DJ Moore has departed and been replaced by Caliph Raymond, with third round pick Xavier Thomas an intriguing and potentially dynamic addition to the receiving corps. The loss of Moore may be coverable from further development from the likes of Adunze, Burden, and Loveland. The arrival of Garrett Bradbury and second round draft pick Logan Jones fortifies the interior of their O line and should ensure their sixth ranked run game of last season is at least as good, if not better, in 2026. Concerns about their pass defense, including their pass rush, plus a feeling this may be a year or two too early for the Bears to make a real push to win it all, and my reasons for having the Bears in the second tier of fancy teams in 2026, but they're still going to be tough to depose as NFC North champions. Moving on, the Houston Texans. The defense was the reason the Texans did as well as they did last season. So if they are to do better in 2026, that defense needs to keep up the great work whilst the offense needs to step up significantly. The good news is that they will field virtually the same defensive unit in 2026 and even improved it by adding Reed Blankenship at safety and second round draft pick Caden McDonald at defensive tackle. With this defense likely to rank in the top five again, against both the pass and the run and be one, if not the very best in the league overall, the onus is very much on CJ Stroud and the offense to deliver the required improvements if they are to challenge to win it all next season. With 5 or 6 good receivers, including a very good one in Nico Collins, plus Dalton Schultz and second round tight end Marlon Klein available to Stroud, he he really needs to step up in 2026. But stepping up has pretty much been an issue for him behind a flaky pass protection unit on the O-line. That has clearly been a focus for the Texans this offseason as they have added Wyatt Teller, Braden Smith and Evan Brown via free agency, then drafted Keelan Rutledge and Fabechi and Nwaiwu to further enhance that unit. They have also brought in David Montgomery at running back to replace the long absent Joe Mixon. His arrival and the improved O-line should see them move up markedly from the 24th ranking of their run offense last season. For the Texans, it is really quite simple. Firstly, that reformed O-line has to come together as a cohesive unit, and then Stroud needs to find his rookie season form of 2023 and maybe more for the Texans' pass attack to fire in the way it will need to if they are to make it to LA next February. I'd really like to put the onus all on the quarterback to do all the work, but in the Texans' case, he really needs to deliver, making this a huge season for Stroud's career in particular. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers. The biggest problem for the 49ers is that they are in the NFC West, so have to find a way past both the Seahawks and Rams before they can even think about the rest of the league. Injuries hurt the 49ers badly last season, and the lack of leading wide receiver Brandon Ayuk also did them no favours. With Ayuk's time in San Fran at an end, and last year's leading wide receiver Juwan Jennings having left via free agency, revamping that wide receiver core was essential for the 49ers this offseason. So in come Mike Evans and Christian Kirk via free agency to join Ricky Pearsall and second round draft pick DeJohn Striblin, and that should get the job done there. Christian McCaffrey was their leading receiver last season and also rusher, and the 49ers have to take some of the workload off CFC's shoulders, legs, arms, and the rest of his soon-to-be 30-year-old body. Third round draft pick Kalen Black may also take some of the ground workload off CMC. If the 49ers can ease the load on their star man, he may be more prepared to be at or near his best come the postseason. Wide receiver Kendrick Bourne and defensive tackle Jordan Elliott were the other significant free agent departures. Oza Odigizua, easy for me to say, replaces Elliott at defensive tackle. Notable additions include inside linebacker Dre Greenlaw, Jack Jones and Nate Hobbs in the secondary. Draft-wise, they added to the O-line depth and also made plenty of moves across the defense. Now, the 49ers ranked 21st for run offense and 23rd for pass defense. So those need to be the areas the 49ers improve on next season. That may mean a big rookie year is needed from Black, the running back. Nick Bosa and Michael Williams made 12 games between them last season with just 3 sacks to their names. They need to play much more and register 15 sacks plus between them if the 49ers pass defense is to take the pressure off a secondary that also needs to step up next season. The doubts aired in the previous paragraph are the reasons I see the 49ers as a very good team next season, but maybe not at the level required to win it all. On to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles did not have to be at their best to retain their NFC East title last season, but may well need to be so again in 2026. Can't read my own script. With the other 3 teams in this division all looking likely to improve plenty next season, have the Eagles done enough to keep them ahead of the chasing pack? Jalen Phillips, Nakobe Dean and Reed Blankenship were all significant losses on the defensive side of the Eagles roster via free agency. 2025 rookie Jihad Campbell will be asked to step up to replace Dean. Jonathan Greenard comes in to fill the gap left by Phillips. but Blankenship has not been replaced at safety, all of which is likely to result in the Eagles' defense being less of a force than it was last season when it ranked fourth against the pass and 24th against the run, and it might be the pass defense that suffers in particular. On offense, rookie Mackay Lemon, Hollywood Brown, and Dontavian Wicks have been added in preparation for the almost certain June trade of A.J. Brown. Offensively, they should rank in the top half of the league, but outside the top 10 as they did last season. With a decent offense but a degraded defense, the Eagles face a struggle to retain their divisional title next season. But if they can do so, they may be able to make mid season moves to make another push to win it all in 2026. Next up, Jacksonville Jaguars. Running back Travis Etienne, inside linebacker Devin Lloyd, and cornerback Greg Newsome were the three significant free agent departures from Jacksonville this offseason, and in truth, none of them has been replaced. Chris Rodriguez joins Basil Tootin and LaQuint Allen to form a likely running back committee. Travis Hunter will likely play more corner to cover the loss of Newsome, but Lloyd is the one who will be most missed next season. The addition of two tight ends and two wide receivers in the draft may help the Jags' passing game that was 10th ranked last season, but the committee approach to replacing ETN may see their ground attack drop from its 12th ranking of last season, unless Tootin in particular can really step up to fill that void. On defense, they are likely to be very strong against the run again, and the pass defense may improve for Hunter's presence, but the loss of Lloyd at the heart of that may make a bigger impact overall. As such, I do not see the Jazz notching the 13 wins they got last season, and as such, that opens up the AFC South for the Texans and possibly the Colts to take a run at. For the Jags to retain their divisional title and make a deep postseason run, Trevor Lawrence will need to continue from his strong 2025 second half and develop into an elite quarterback, and he may just do that. So there's 8 teams that are my next 8 off the rank, as it were. So that's 11 that now I think have got a shot at the Super Bowl and maybe winning it all next season. But these 8 have all got question marks over them that I don't see over the likes of the Chargers, Rams, and Broncos. So in my next piece, I'll go through 5 teams that didn't make the postseason next season, but could well be in a chance of doing so next season and maybe more. So come back for that one next. See you soon.